Ladies and gentlemen of the RNG Revolution, welcome to the 66th episode of the RngCast. I, as always, am Buster Knuckle. Joining me this week is...
Good morning, Revolution! This is your boy, Raven.
I actually love that. You didn't tell me anything. You didn't tell me that was coming.
No.
I love it.
I've been waiting to drop it one day.
That was so good.
Decided now was the time.
Oh, yeah, especially after the messages we've been throwing back and forth to each other. Today I had... This is the episode that almost wasn't.
Yeah, no, right?
Oh, man. Before we get into that, how was your week, man? How's everything been?
It's been all right. Been steady. They say no changes can be a good thing, so... Or... What, no news is not bad news, something like that? No change is not bad change?
No news is good news?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, whatever.
We're going with that philosophy right now.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's better than saying like, "Oh man, my dog died. I got hit by a car.
That's true.
My hand fell off. All kinds of bad shit can happen, right?"
True enough.
Oh man. So, my week started with just working excess amounts because we needed, the move. And actually, surprise, surprise, I'm in the house right now. I'm in the office. We're in the RNG studio, or whatever you want to call it. The RNG bunker. We haven't yet to name it. I guess we might put that out there for the revolution to name what I call this from now on. But we needed a little bit of money to move in, as one does to move in. And I was maybe $300 short. Because taxes, Uncle Sam has to put it to you every time. And I was like, fuck. I don't know what to do. And I'm just like, how am I going to get this $300? And I'm looking around, I'm like, I can sell blood. I'm a rare blood type. And I'm like, no, that's a lot of blood. And I'm like, semen. I can sell semen. And my girlfriend was like, who would want that? And I was like, fair point. So I was just like, okay, cool. Who do you turn to? Moms. We both, I asked my mom, she asked her mom simultaneously. They both said they'd help us, but her mom came through in the clutch. Like, her mom came through hardcore. So, thanks to moms out there, every mom, especially, Lady Buster's mom, the queen of Lady Buster's home. She came through, and here we are. But I moved in Friday morning at 8:30 a.m. I started moving, I should say. I went to get the truck.
Yeah.
I got off work at 6:30 a.m., which means Buster had zero sleep. I had no sleep. I thought I'd be good until I started, giggling at things.
Yeah.
I went through the first time. I drank some aggro, gave me a little bit of energy, a little bit of focus. That helped. My buddies came through. I put the bat signal up. 2 of my buddies came to help me move, thankfully, because we have some heavy shit. Loaded, unloaded. It took about 4.5 hours, maybe. I'm being real conservative on that. It could have took shorter than that. But when we got everything in, you don't set everything up when you move in. You're just moving. Boxes in the way and shit. So we had to take the truck back. So we waited for, my girlfriend, the Lady Buster's mom, to come follow me in the truck to take me back. Because it was about 30 miles away where we had to take the truck. Mm. I moved 1.5 miles away from where I used to live to a better neighborhood and a bigger house. And I didn't lay on the couch more than I sort of melted into it.
Yeah.
I wasn't asleep. My eyes were open. I was fully coherent.
You just passed out, though.
But I couldn't move.
Yeah.
It was like I got hit by a dart in my neck.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I was like, I'm so out of it. And I heard her talk, her mom came to see, just to see the house, not set up or nothing. And she's like, oh my God, how is he still conscious? And my girlfriend was like, I don't think he's conscious. I just think his eyes are open. And I was like, I'm up. She's like, you're not up. Just stop it. But, dropped the truck off, came back, everything. We didn't have the Comcast guy come until today. So we watched a couple movies on DVD. Yeah, people still own DVDs. People are surprised at that. And I watched the movie Colossal, but we'll get to that one later. Okay. The appointment. These appointment times are ridiculous. Let's just get into that right there. You don't have down south. What do you guys have? Time Warner, right?
Spectrum.
Spectrum. Okay. Don't know about that. I didn't know what that was. I don't know. That
we're owned by another. I think Spectrum. The name Spectrum actually goes as far as Texas. I'm not 100 or Charter. I think was what it was. But it's like Charter Communications / Spectrum, whatever. Like those two companies are kind of tied into one another. Cable companies are freaking weird, man.
Yeah, they are. Because I called and I was like, hey, I need to move my service. Notice the words I used. Move my service. Transfer service from one point to another point. That's it. They set it up as a new activation. So I'm like, all right, cool. Whatever, man. The lady was like, the tech will be here from 1 to 3. First off, you picked an odd set, which I dig, right? An odd hour. But
yeah.
1 to 3. That's very, very inconvenient when you're moving still. Because we still have like odds and ends at the old place that we're bringing over slowly but surely in my car. And I just have a normal car. I don't have a pickup truck. I just have a car. So like 3 boxes and some bags, and that's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the guy comes, and he's real cool. You know, he's nice. The dog's freaking the fuck out because it's a new person. Whatever. And he's like, does she bite? I'm like, does she look like she bites? Has she bit you yet? Like, you're in the house, dude. You would have known. We both would have known at the same time. So he was, he was setting everything up. He was reading some lines. He was like, man, you got terrible signal here. I said, whoa. Hold your horses. Dimitri set me up. And he's like, I see, man. Like, you're supposed to have really good service. And I'm like, okay. So what has to happen? He's like, well, I can go into your house and see what's going on down there. I mean, best case scenario, it might be an easy fix, 15 minutes. Cool, man. He goes under my house like a movie. Din, 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 din. Stands up, looks at me and goes, oh, you're fucked. And I'm like, what do you mean you're fucked? And he's like, whoever did this just decided to go split her happy.
Oh.
And for those that don't know, one continuous cable is the way to go.
Oh, yeah,
if you split it, it weakens the signal. And if you split off of a split, it's like duplicity. Remember that Michael Keaton movie?
Well, I mean, the best way to think of it hilariously is you think of it like water.
Yeah.
You have one continuous pressure, and the more joints and pipes and outlets that you have from that one continuous pressure, the less water you're getting from each individual outlet.
Yeah, I was just going to say the movie Multiplicity. That's what it was. Multiplicity.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah,
where Michael Keaton cloned himself, and then he got to, like, one of his clones was like, well, if he can clone, I can clone. And he cloned a clone, and that clone cloned a clone, and it was like 3 or 4 clones down the line, and the guy had, like, a backwards hat, and he just, like, did you get me a monkey, Steve? Well, mine was worse than that. That's how bad this signal was. So he's like, all right, so I can fix this. And I'm like, what do you got to do? He's like, I got to rewire your whole house. And I'm like, how long is that going to take? He's like, could take all day. And I'm like, I got to record a fucking podcast, motherfucker. So I messaged Raven, telling him what happened. And Raven, to your credit, you were very like, it's cool, man. We did 2 years and haven't missed an episode. Everybody plans on missing an episode. And I was like, all right, cool. He's okay with it. But I wasn't okay with it. Like, something about me is like, nah, man, we can't miss an episode. So I'm like, do you need my help? and my man goes, you don't want to go down in that crawl space. And I'm like, all right, let me look in it. You can't say that to a guy like me. I have to know I have to see it. Is there like a skeletal hand holding a puzzle that you have to solve to get in? Is there like a mini minotaur? Is there like a small minotaur? I'm not going to say the M word, but a small minotaur, a little minotaur, a minotaur. Is it down there like rampaging with a battle axe or just a hatchet? I guess would be the right way to put it for that size, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, I look down, and I'm like, oh, man. Fuck that. Stand right up, dude, because it's dark. It's dank. It's just dirt on the bottom.
Yeah.
And there's just like spiders and big slugs that look like they haven't seen the light of day in 36 years. Like they're white and weird colors. I'm like, no. So he's like, all right, cool. I got you, man. And I'm like, I can feed you the wire. You know what I mean? You don't have to come out and pull it. I can just keep feeding it to you. So I fed him a little bit of wire. And then he was like, nah, man, go ahead. Go move. You're good. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'll do that. So he comes up and goes, I'll probably be done like 11. I was like, that's, I mean, Raven's a vampire, but that's a tough one to sell for him. So I'm like, all right. And he like saw my face. He was like, I'll call some people. So he called like 4 of his buddies, and they just went drill crazy in my house. Just weird noises I've never even heard. Like I didn't know a drill could make like a wobble 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 sound.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, what is he doing? And he's just drilling through cinder block and all kinds of shit. And then he comes up and goes, oh, man, totally. You're good. And I'm like, sweet. And I'm like, is it like it was before? And he's like, yeah, it's just like it was before. I'm like, fucking awesome. He's like, you got one solid, thick-ass cable. Because he was like, do you want, service in other rooms? My girlfriend and I don't have, TV in our bedroom.
Yeah.
Some people are like that. Some people have TVs in their bedroom. It's whatever. It's whatever you want to do. We don't have that. And I was like, no, man, fucking pull it. And he was like, cool. It's wired to do it. And each room has a separate whole cable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sweet, man. And then he was like, why were you so like adamant about having good signal, having good service? And I'm like, well, I mean, I like I like watching TV. I watch Game of Thrones and such, but I'm a gamer. I have a podcast. And he was like, oh, man, what do you play? So I started listing off the games I played. He's like, sweet, man. Did they tell you we have a new, better tier of service than what you have? And I was like, what did you just say? And then he was like, yeah, it's like X1 Phoenix is what they call it, or some shit like that. Some really cool name, like Obelisk or some weird thing, right? And I'm like, do tell. And he's like, well, I mean, obviously it's going to be an upcharge. I'm like, I knew this. Okay, you didn't have to tell me that. I knew it was an upcharge. Come on now. Look who you're talking to.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, it's so new and fast that the tech has to sign for the box. Like, because the modem, the router,
Yeah.
he has to sign for the box. This is how he told me it would have to go. He would have to sign. I'd have to call. They'd have to say yes. They would say yes. They would have to, the tech goes to the headquarters, signs personally for the box per serial number, goes, sets it up. I signed for the serial number as well. So there's like chain of custody. Then he'd have to call to activate it. The person would have to talk to me to activate it as well. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Like, how fast we talking? And he looked at me, he goes, fucking fast. I'm like, what does that mean? And he said fucking fast and then said, have a good night, see you later, and walked away. I'm like, oh man, you can't tell me that. You can't tell me fucking fast. I have fucking fast signal now. You know what I mean? Like, my service is pretty fucking good. But not fucking fast. And I'm like, Raven. I was like, I gotta tell Raven this. I gotta tell the Revolution this. Like, Comcast, stop playing with me, man. Why didn't you just bring it with you? You should have just assumed. The motherfucker called Dimitri and got fast service. He would love the X1 Phoenix Obelisk or whatever the fuck it's called. Oh, and they changed my box, and now it looks like a goddamn. It looks like it's because the box originally was like a gigantic rectangle, and now it almost looks like hive structure. And I'm like, oh man, there's one little green light flashing. I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. Come on now, man. Oh. But yeah, so that's why this episode is a late episode. Spoilers, we're doing this about 12 hours later than we're used to. I think Raven would prefer this, though. But, I tweeted out that, hey, there might not be an episode this week. And
Yeah.
I gotta just let Raven do one, telling stories about the Star Wars expanded universe. What was it? Not World of Warcraft. EverQuest.
EverQuest and something else.
Gun stats and stories about growing up in the South.
No, right?
So, you want to?
Why is growing up in the South interesting?
I guess can I just say because I'm a Northerner? Like, obviously, I grew up in the North. I just think that living down South would be like. I hear some stories and I'm no way. And then they're like, oh yeah, totally. I have a friend named Gerbil, and I'm like, what? Like, everybody has weird nicknames. Sure, I get that. But I mean, it's just, I guess to us up Northerners, the South just seems so mystical.
I know, right? It's like, what the crap? I mean, just because I knew someone from Tin Shop, Alabama, TINSHOP, Alabama, doesn't mean we're that different, guys. I mean, come on.
Really? That's like me saying, yeah, just because I allegedly, not really know, but I know via a very graphic metaphor, frozen gummy bears, that I haven't lived an interesting life. just because I drank Habusaki and then had to run 3 miles, I don't notice like that hallucinate. Just because I ate an epic dose of mushrooms when I was 16. You know what I mean? Like, 10 Shop?
Yeah, 10 Shop. That's where he was from. I actually worked in a place called Real Town that consisted, amazingly had a high school.
Oh, man.
I don't think I actually had any other school. Not that I remember anyway. Consisted of a gas station, a tire shop, a restaurant, and then houses and farmland. I mean, that was the entire town. But no, I mean, look at this. Freaking small towns. Freaking everywhere around here in Alabama. Christ.
I mean,
when you drive in and the sign actually says town limit, not city limit. There's actually signs. It's like, oh yeah, town limit. It's like, wait, what? Town? That's actually still a classification? Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, it kind of sounds like we grew up similar because my hometown had an elementary and a middle school, but the elementary school got condemned because the goddamn a wall collapsed. Not like out down, like it collapsed unto itself. And there were kids in the school, like looking at each other like that shouldn't happen, right? I mean, I know I'm in first grade, but that's not right. So they upgraded the middle school to contain everything. So I guess it's one school, one light. Yeah, one light, one store. And listen to this asshole shit. The store is closed on Saturday.
Yeah, I know, right?
What? You close on Saturday?
I see. Because that's the funny thing. Because I grew up in the larger cities of Alabama. Like we started in Selma, which I mean, historians will know. That is actually where Martin Luther King Jr. started his walk. His it's like demonstration march
Mm-hmm.
To Montgomery. Was started at the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, and that's the bridge this bridge I knew as a kid because we crossed it so many times. I didn't learn that, and I didn't learn all this though until after we moved to Montgomery, which is our second largest city. But it's hilarious because, like I said, so I grew up in like the cities of the South, which still isn't that big. Because I drive through places like freaking like Atlanta and Nashville, and it's like, oh my God, where am I? Mm-hmm. The last place I lived, Tallahassee, was one of those really small towns. I mean, they had a few places, but it was like one of those. It was a mill town basically. So it's one of those like most of the convenience stores like close after 10.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I close the McDonald's here. There's nothing for me to do now. Like legitimately, after we closed McDonald's, we we'd actually go to the Huddle House because that was like the only place open 24 hours a day. So we'd go to the Huddle House and chill out for like 30 minutes to an hour before we went home.
Oh my god.
Oh god. Yeah, that's.
And it's crazy. Small town living, like that one store at lunchtime. Because now, I guess it's not like Milltown. Like, I know what you meant by a Milltown. It's now like Warehouseville is the best way to describe it. Like, there's gigantic warehouses. There's like Five Below warehouse. There's a Jet warehouse. There's several warehouses there's a couple in the town and around the town. There's like an industrial complex. At lunchtime, don't go there. Don't, because you'll waste your whole lunch. You'll order your food, eat your food before you pay for your food. Because it's jammed, and that's why the dude's like, yeah, this is a good idea. I like this. And then you close on Saturday. I don't know if you knew this, dude, but warehouses are 7 days a week, 7 day a week operations. And I'm like, hey man, you can do whatever you want, but why don't you open on Saturdays? And he was like, oh, this is the day my dad died. My dad died on a Saturday. I'm like, so let's just hope your mom dies on a Saturday? Is that what you're saying? Because like, what if your mom dies on a fucking Tuesday? So you're going to be closed Saturday and Tuesday? That's very odd hours, my friend. That's a very odd schedule.
All right.
I think you would tell somebody to suck your balls if somebody was like, okay, you got to work, but you're off Saturday and Tuesday. Like, no. You can't do anything on a Saturday. The Saturday's a wash. No. Let's just be honest. And Tuesday? Very strange. But I mentioned the movie Colossal. And I'm going to add a tagline to this movie because there will be some spoilers. So if you don't want to listen to Colossal, if you don't want to hear about it, which I don't know why you would, it's definitely a B movie. That sounded like it had some power behind it.
Sorry.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, that sounded bad.
No.
That sounded like you were summoning a demon, like you had a cauldron in front of you and it was bubbling up. Ooh.
That was sadly about normal.
Oh, well, okay. Now we know. It's a movie with Anne Hathaway and, goddamn, not Andy Serkis. That's the guy who plays Gollum and all of them. Sudeikis? Jason Sudeikis, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, I think that's who it is. But what happens is, in Seoul, South Korea, a monster just materializes and fucks some shit and, like, stumbles around, breaks some shit, does what monsters do. So, she figures out that when she blacks out is when the monster shows up. Like, blackout drunk. And then she figures out that when she drinks on her way home, she walks through this park. And when she walks through the park at the time, she notices that in the congruent time in Korea, the monster shows up. So it doesn't take a genius to realize, because, I'm pretty sure, Raven, you've already figured out, oh shit, she's the monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the monster. And, she draws a map and sees, like, the border of the playground to where it is. Like, there's a river in Korea, and that's where the end of the playground is.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So, she tries to avoid it, gets drunk, goes there again, starts dancing, does, like, weird shit to show people, like, oh, look, what's the monster doing now? Oh, they're dancing. Dancing like who? Oh, my God, like you. You're the monster. Yeah, I'm the monster. Okay, cool. She falls once and kills a bunch of people, feels real sad about it. You find out that the guy who originally you would think that he was like the romantic, cohort. Like, he was the hometown boy who was in love with her, but then she moved away. Turns out, no, he's just a jealous prick. Because, ready for this, when he gets drunk and he goes to the park, he becomes a giant robot. Like, the giant robot appears in Korea, just like the monster. Yeah. So they fight a couple, like, she slaps him, and then he, like, walks off because, when you get slapped by a girl, you typically walk away. And then he started like, being real controlling and dickish. And, like, saying, like, if you don't stay, I'm going to come here every day and stomp around and all that. And then she punches him a few times and hits him in the balls. And then he becomes a dick and hits her. And then like knocks her. And obviously she falls. She gets knocked down. He's like, if you ever do that again, this is going to happen. And then he stomps around the area. And like you can hear people like, oh my god, like they're watching it happen. But they're not watching them. They're watching the monster versions of them. So basically what happened, that happens a few times. And then you find out how this came to be. When they were kids, they were walking home. They were walking to school with dioramas. Her diorama was of Seoul, South Korea. His was of like his hometown, this town. A windstorm happens and her diorama, whatever, gets blown away. He's like, I'll get it. He jumps over the fence and goes to get it. She follows him. She witnesses him, like, because he's jealous of her. She gets all the attention. She's the story writer. She's, this, that, and the third. He gets jealous and stomps on, like, just, does, like, double foot stomp, little kid, I hate this type stuff on it. At this time, here we go. 2 bolts of lightning strike them at the same time. Now, they both pass out, because if you get struck by lightning, typically, you pass out. That's what happens, right? You don't die. You're not just struck by a...
I know, right?
You're
not struck by like a million.
Yeah.
You're not struck by an amount of electrical energy that we actually cannot replicate in truest form.
Mm-hmm.
No!
No. You pass out, and the dinosaur, or the monster that she becomes, falls out of her book bag. Like, she has the toy of it.
Mm.
And the robot falls out of his book bag. Now, she decides to leave. And he's like, you know what would happen if you go. You know what would happen if you go. This, that, and everything. She's like, well, you got to do what you got to do. Now, she flies her happy ass to South Korea, to the area. And he goes to the park and shows up. So that in front of her, the robot, his avatar, I can say, shows up. So she's like, well, I guess I gotta stop this. So she starts walking towards him, and as soon as she breaks the threshold, her monster form shows up in front of him. So, like, they're both monster in front of him, but he doesn't know where she is.
Yeah.
She knows where he is exactly. So, he's doing something, and he tries to run, like, his human form, and she snatches him up. And then, obviously the avatar, the arms go down, his feet start kicking like he's struggling. She lifts him in the air. The avatar lifts in the air. And, like, she growls and, like, laughs and screams and, like, roars. And then I guess she can hear what he's saying to her, because he says some choice words and, threatens her. So she throws him. And then his avatar flies away, and then as soon as it breaks the threshold of the boundary, it dissipates into the weird, like, cloudy mist, and everyone cheers. No one fucking realizes it's her who did it.
She.
No one. And that's it. My girlfriend and I look at each other and go, what genre of movie is this? Because I was like, is it like a monster comedy? Because I thought, because she does like funny dances and then she's drunk and she falls asleep on her neck, all kinds of weird stuff. Like when, I guess, because her boyfriend breaks up with her because she parties. That's how it sets up. That's how she moves home. She falls asleep sitting up. All the weird, like, I partied too hard, I passed out type of things.
Yeah.
And I look at her, I'm like, is this a revenge flick? And she's like, no, it's not a revenge flick. I'm like, is this a men are assholes flick? Like, what is this? And she's like, I'm just confused. And I'm like, yeah, man. Redbox fucked me up. Because we got it from Redbox. It's the only way you can rent DVDs anymore. I didn't want to buy the fucking movie. If I bought that movie, I'd be ranting right now. I wasted $25 fucking on the Blu-ray of this movie. I swear to Christ, I want to stab myself in the neck. But oh my god, it was just terrible, just terrible. So that's the long and the short of the Casa de Buster, the Casa de Knuckles. As I put it on our Discord. I dropped a picture on the Discord to show the revolution. You know, we share. I probably tweeted out from my Twitter account, not the podcast, because I need to realize sometimes that I'm logged onto the podcast and not mine. But I guess that's what happens, right? I'm going through game withdrawals, though.
All right.
My God. Haven't picked up Paladins. Shocker. I've been just working and moving, but have you seen the preview or any reviews for the Senora, whatever you want to call it, the Hellblade?
Oh, Senua.
Senua's
Descent. Dude, I've actually watched some videos on that. Let me advise anybody that's going to get Hellblade, have headphones. Mm-hmm. Like a good set of, like, if possible, closed-ear headphones. Because legitimately, I actually found out, okay, I liked the idea of Hellblade from the first time I saw the trailer for it. It comes from Ninja Theory, I think they're called.
Yeah.
Which they did a few games. They did a couple, like, really good games. They did the controversial DMC game, which was the reboot of Devil May Cry, and a lot of people didn't like the Dante character they portrayed, but the gameplay was really solid, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. But their goal with Hellblade, apparently, according to this trailer, was to make a AAA quality game with a development team of about 20 people. And that goal was to make a high quality game, but they wanted to make a mid-sized game. So it's actually like a half-price game from your normal game because it's only half the freaking thing. But like the development into it, though, I mean, they did a lot of like facial rig, like motion capture work, which looks amazing in the game. But they also did something with the sound, the way the lines were recorded. I forget the term that they used, but they basically hook like a pair of microphones to like a dummy's head. So that way, whenever the actors speak the lines, it's actually recorded from both microphones in a way that you can actually get like spatial depth out of the lines. So it is recorded in a way to get like the positioning of the actor. So it translates that way through the sound of the game, like innately. So, well, and I actually watched a video of it, and oh my god, like you actually like there's actually like depth and crap, mm-hmm. and like the YouTube of it is probably like a horrible like rendering of it, but even then you can still like I said, you can actually still get a feel for all the depth and such in it, and it's like really amazing. And then watching this video, I found out that that Hellblade does something very, very nasty that I didn't think anybody could get away with in video games nowadays. So apparently Hellblade is one of those video games that autosaves whenever you do things, when it has like combat and such like that. But there's a mechanic that if Senua fails too much, she has this thing called the rot. And if she fails too much, the rot is going to reach her brain. And if you let the rot reach her brain, not only do you get a game over,
yeah,
your save data is deleted. So it's like, excuse me?
Yeah. Yeah, you need to start from the beginning. You're terrible at this.
It's like, if you're bad at the game, this game is not afraid to just go, no, start over, try again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's going to hold your hand for so long, but after that, it's like, nah, see you, man. Go back. Go back to Go. Do not collect $200.
Ninja Theory also did the Heavenly Sword.
Yeah.
And Kung Fu Chaos from back in the early days. It was on Xbox, I think.
Oh yeah, that horrible game.
Yeah, and they did Enslaved as well. Odyssey to the West. I've never even heard anything about that one either. So,
but I know Heavenly Sword had like really good like review and praise. But
yeah,
Kung Fu Chaos, like I said, it was like one of those Smash Brothers clones, if I remember properly, but it was like filled with like very hardcore, like, you know, mid to early 1900s, like racial stereotyping and crap like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
the one character from Jade Empire. We all know who we're talking about here.
Yeah.
It was a stereotypical, like, oh, this is so stereotypically this genre. I see what they're doing here.
No, I mean actual like racial stereotypes. Like,
yeah.
Their director, or like the director character, which is like the announcer, is like this Asian dude that has like literal slits for eyes and this big hokey, big toothed grin. Like
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it draws deep from like old racial stereotypes.
You're like, holy shit, man! Was he have a coin in his pocket? Come on now. But I watched a little bit of that, and you're right. Yeah, if you don't have closed ear, decent headphones, there's whispers,
Mm-hmm.
and not like how the Touch of Malice whispers. By the way, there's your Destiny reference, folks. Yeah, the Touch of Malice was like weird, like chanting whispers. This shit's like, kill yourself.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, that's one place they really take advantage of the directionality too, because it's coming from freaking everywhere. But apparently, like Senua herself, like, is freaking crazy, and like, so I didn't think, like, legitimately these voices are apparently everywhere in this freaking game. Like, they do not shut up.
No.
Like, holy Christ, I'm watching this dude play through, and it's like I get the mechanic, but are they going to stop?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently not yet.
No. And there's, like, visual...
Oh, yeah.
There's, like, really visual trips. Like, in one of the scenes I saw, she has a bag at her hip, like, tied to her hip, and it has a head in it. And every now and then she'll look down, and the head will be, like, the bag will be moving, like the character, like the head is breathing. Or you'll look down, and when you hear something, it looks like the mouth is moving.
Yeah.
Like if you just like had a head taunt, the chin was moving the bag. I'm like, man, they are going crazy. And then I look on the, I look it up, and they actually had a mental health professional on staff to like give them the idea to like help them make this really trippy.
Well, I mean, that and like this game actually has a like a mental health advisory as well. This is like such convincing like auditory cues and such that they have to warn, if you suffer from anything, for the sake of yourself, stay away.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I watched it. I was like, I'm just gonna stay away from this game. It looks good, but I'm good.
Okay, well, hilarious. I didn't realize I would be watching anyone that actually played it, but it was, but no, it was actually a Jacksepticeye, which is usually he's stereotypically Irish when I talk about stereotypes, but he's very plucky, happy-go-lucky, like full of energy. But the voices were actually getting him to like start to doubt himself. Like, it's like, oh, I might not actually do. Wait, shut up! Stop that! And it's like, Christ. I mean,
yeah, man. I mean, that's how you know they put hard work into it. Really.
Oh, they did. They did. Like I said, for a team of like, well, definitely for a team of like sub 100 people. I mean, it's gorgeous too. Like the facial rig. Oh my god. Like the facial capture is just outstanding work.
And they apparently mixed live action in there too. Some of the cutscenes were live action.
I could possibly see where, but I'm almost willing to convince because of the filter it might not be.
I mean, yeah, I could. Either way, the ones I saw, I was like, is that a real person? And then I can see,
because there's like a red haze like to one of her like hallucinations or whatnot, and like there's a person talking, and it's like, okay, I could see if that may be a real person because it's like a different filter and such. So it passes like believability, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, that just could be a really good facial rig.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hell, if you watch the new Planet of the Apes movie, you're like, that's
Yeah.
That's a talking ape. And it's really just Andy Serkis doing it. Which, I mean, I can watch Andy Serkis do anything. I really could.
The amazing thing is actually watching him do this work when it's not the creature and it's actually him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like watching all the Gollum crap. Like, he actually stood in for Gollum. So yeah, watching him do these things that Gollum is supposed to be doing is hilarious.
Oh yeah, and when he does it, he kind of like embodies, like he takes on the characteristics of that character. He hunches over. He gets very like really weird. The Gollum stance is the way I put it. Just yelling, precious. But I mean, we've seen some things. Having him read President Trump's tweets probably was the best thing I've ever heard, though. When he was on I think he was on Colbert.
Yeah.
And he did that, but we don't go into that. We'll just say it was funny, because the big three we don't talk about.
Yeah. That and right now politics is just too easy.
Yeah, it's low-hanging fruit for sure.
It's like, who cares? Get over it.
Mm-hmm. The thing that got me was this whole debacle about the General Lee. Was it Robert E. Lee? The statue people took down, and a bunch of people went crazy with tiki torches.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention enough to news to really actually care.
I watched the news because, I mean, you know, it's on in the break room. And they were showing pictures, and these guys were screaming, you know, about a bunch of racially charged epithets and yelling, you know, the white power and all that, while holding stereotypically Polynesian tiki torches. And the guy, the guy who he might have, I don't know if it was Colbert. It might have been Colbert. I watch a lot of Colbert because I find him funny yet topical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he just stopped and looked at the camera and was like, do you see that? Bring up the still. You guys couldn't just bring regular torches? You had to bring tiki torches? What, there was mosquitoes that night? And I'm like, wow, man. What the hell? Do we live in a Coen Brothers movie? Because that's some literal, like, comedy stuff right there. That's the scene from Django when they're arguing about the whole size of their masks.
Oh yeah.
That's what that was, just in real life.
Yeah.
You know, like, man, I just can't wait to play video games again. Leave the real world behind. Oh man.
I think I was told best. It's actually hilarious. It's like, if you don't, like, a leading way to not get depressed to start your day is don't watch the news.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is.
And hey, look at there. It actually kind of works.
Yeah. Surprise, right? So,
because, I mean, some news can be a good thing, but it's like, I'm sorry, but as a whole, or as an average, people are dumb. For one reason or another, people are just dumb. I mean, me included.
Yeah.
Dumb to a degree.
Same. And like you said, no news is good news sometimes, right?
All right.
But I mean, we spoke earlier in the pre-show. If you want the pre-show, go ahead and throw $1 down on the Patreon and become one of the patrons of the RNG Revolution and get the pre-show early. You get to hear us talking all kinds of crazy stuff that we won't talk about on the show, or sometimes we do talk about on the show. This point in particular, what have you been playing, Raven? I'm living vicariously through you at this moment.
Well, like I said, I pretty much well kept my promise. Even if you did see me, like, rarely on console this past week, you did not. Except for maybe like a day or so. But no, I've played like no console games. Like I said, I found and downloaded Planescape Torment. I had talked about its spiritual successor, Torment Tides of Numenera, which I actually downloaded that, played through, finished the first time, because just like Planescape Torment, Torment Tides of Numenera has multiple choice endings, basically. It's like, oh, you're here to solve the problem. Well, option A does this, but you can also choose option A with this other thing. And then here's a completely different option B. Of course, but then again, there's always option C, you know. It's like, crap. Yeah, I'm playing it again.
Now, did you totally OCD it out and write down every step you took and took the opposite step? Or did you branch off just subtly?
Oh, no. When I dive in like, it's just a...
gut instinct?
Yeah, I just dive in. And it's like, okay, I did this last time. And because it's like, whenever you start Tides of Numenera, you're basically given like 2 companions. But that's only for like 5 minutes. Because those companions have irreconcilable differences throughout the entire game. Meaning, if you have one, the other one will not join your party. Ever. In that playthrough.
Oh, no.
So while I figured out, like, starting Companion A, I figured out his entire story. And it was very nice. I got sad. But at the end of the game, it does kind of like this 1980s, 1990s, like, feel-good movie story recap. You know, like, and Jimmy went on to live his life in glory type deal.
Okay.
Except for the fact that the companion you don't take with you, it's like nothing is known about them. You don't get anything, and it's like, Christ, you don't even get a recap of this person. So I have to go through and play the game again. Because now it's like, crap.
Amazing.
How does the game change? Yeah, so yeah, it's a complete and total trap. But I love it for it. I was actually amazed because after I finished playing it, I normally don't give a crap what critics review a game as. But I actually got curious, and I had to find out what Tides of Numenera got as a score, because it's relatively recent. It's even on PS4, and I highly recommend anybody getting it. It's like a $30 or $40 game on PS4. At least 30 hours of gameplay. Replayability for reasons I just said. But no, I was actually amazed that like IGN gave it like an 8.5 out of 10. I'm like, really? Now, I mean, I love this game. I think it deserves probably about an 8. But for IGN to kind of align with that, it was kind of weird. But it even said in like some of the reviews, there was like one viewer that's like, you know what? It's like this game does what it does good, and there's people that's going to really like it. But it's not going to be many people. I mean, just like Torment, like Torment did not sell very well, but it was very like critically acclaimed, basically. So I mean, this is pretty much just following in his footsteps, and like you're not guaranteed to like the game, but if you like games that revolve around character development and character story, Planescape Torment and Torment Tides of Numenera do those excellently. And because they are like, well, I mean, Planescape Torment is a D&D based game, so I mean, there's crap tons of lore there, like deep lore, like most Western RPGs have. But like I said, this actually has very deep, you know, character stories to go into. And then Torment Tides of Numenera was designed by Monty Cook, who helped design the Planescape setting for D&D and wrote a bunch of crap for TSR and such. So, I mean, he worked for Dungeons & Dragons for like 10, 15 years writing adventures. And he made his own like company and setting, which is the Numenera setting. And so now you have that kind of deep lore with more like freaking character stories and such, and even with like specific stories like locally. And so yeah, it's a really good successor. It does what Torment does. I'm not going to say better, but it was just really fun to actually get back into those kinds of games.
Yes, that was me living vicariously. Because I'm asking everybody, like, man, what are you playing, man? What have you been up to, man? like I talked to Ben a little bit, and I talked to Zanny Fan from the Barely a Destiny show. And I'm like, man, what have you been up to, dude? And he's like, oh man, I streamed like 10 hours of Paladins. I'm like, oh, who'd you play? what was your loadout? Like, how'd you do? Like, did you guys win a lot? Like, what happened? Did somebody not play a frontliner? And did you have 3 flanks, 1 damage, and one support that didn't want to play support? What, tell me about it. I was super into it. I loved those games, man. I do, because I know there's one on the PlayStation, right? There's a Baldur's Gate game or something free to play.
Oh yeah, that's free to play. I don't know, but Torment is, like I said, it's on PS4. It's got the same isometric. However, there was a. I don't think it's on console yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
No, like I said, Tides of Numenera is definitely on console. Like I said, it's a fantastic freaking game for its kind. Pretty much, like I said, it's hilarious because what the critics said about the game, like the only issue I found with Torment, Tides of Numenera, was the combat felt clunky and weird. Mm-hmm. And like kind of slow in areas, which I kind of blame the setting for, or I mean, it's just really weird. And it could just be that I didn't fully understand like the system. So my second playthrough might actually end up being way better. But yeah, there's that. So, I mean, the fact that you don't have to fight every fight is actually a blessing. But yeah.
Right. So, that was I'm sitting here looking at my PlayStation, and it's like in Wile E. Coyote cartoons when when the person's shipwrecked and then the other person turns into a gigantic talking chicken. And so that's what's going on right now. Play me. I'm like, no, that's against the rules of podcasting. You cannot play a video game on podcasting. Once again, I will say it. Don't be on a podcast playing a fucking game. We can hear the controller click. You might not think it is. I don't give a shit if it's a scuff. It makes noise. Trust me. But real quick, Handsome Dragon, one of the RNG legends, sent me a message asking me to drop a little PSA for you guys. And at looking at it, I'm not going to read this as written. I love you, Handsome Dragon, but I'm not going to read this as written. It's really long, and there's a lot of sad facts, and I don't want to be sad. So, if you want to look up this company, Lit World, that's L-I-T World, by the way, not lit as in like, oh my god, this is so lit, like the kids say, more like literacy or literate. This company reached out to the Lore Minds of Destiny and are teaming up to do a 24-hour charity stream on August 26th, 2017. This will be a charity stream with 24 of the Destiny lore masters. I'm talking, I've seen Bife, I've seen Mylan Games, Handsome Dragon. I'm sure Anon Pig's going to be in there. What's this new guy? What's this guy? I just heard. Me, Buster Knuckle. I'm going to be there. Probably not to be a lore master, more to probably be comic relief, but I'm okay with that. You got to play the cards you're dealt, people. If you can, please watch, tweet, push, go in, donate if you can. Because, let me see, the stat was in 2017, there are about 1 billion illiterate adults and about 15 million illiterate youths globally. That's fucking ridiculous.
That's like really weird too, like to meet that kind of person, because it's weird because you might hear like you hear those numbers, and it is a huge number, but it's also just the fact that, when you consider how many people are in the world, I mean, it's also the fact, you have a chance of not meeting one of these people.
Mm-hmm.
I actually worked with one of these people. He was actually very... It's so weird because he was a welder. So, I mean, he didn't need to read and write to show people that he can, weld two pieces of metal together. But when it came to the paperwork for one of the factories I worked at, and he just filled it out by, like, mimicking. So if anything changed, it's like he had to, like, ask, is like, so what's this? And what's that? And what do I do with this? And I'm like, you don't get this? And that one day he finally looked at me, he's like, I'm illiterate, man. It's like, I never finished school. And it's like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, crap.
Yeah. And I mean, Handsome Dragon reached out and asked if we would like to be a part of it. And I, as always, said, yeah, sure, why not? I can do anything. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I don't know if Raven, if you want to hop in, there's open slots. You can hop in with me or you can hop in singularly. I think you would actually have a lot more lore to say, being that you are I admit this, that you are the lore guy of the podcast. I'll admit it. I know some shit, but you got this. I'll give it to you. Like I said, though, I'm the comic relief. I'm the color commentary, as it were. But Handsome Dragon was like, dude, it's fine. We can talk about Game of Thrones for your slot. I'm like, well, that's something I can talk about. I'm the goddamn, my name is Bife in this shit. I know, I've read the books. I know I got some crazy theories that came true, that didn't come true, that might come true. I don't know. We can do this. And, I think my slot is 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So everything's Pacific because that's where they are. So it's 12 Pacific and I think 2 Pacific. There's an hour that I'm not going to be on that I'm trying to weasel in so that way I can do a solid block. But I mean, I'm looking forward to it, and I don't know, Raven, we'll talk after the show. If you want to hop in, I can probably talk to Handsome Dragon to get you into a slot later on where you'll be awake and not, I like pickles type of sleepy like I was. Fucking 36 hours not sleeping. I started hallucinating and talking crazy. So that was if you can support, please go out there, tell them the RngCast sent you. And just, do it. Just go help, watch, host.
The second best thing you can do is just raise awareness for it. Get the word out. Word of mouth, tweet, Twitter. There's all sorts of like amazing social networking functions now. I mean, of course, it's never going to beat the fact of donating any amount. Like a lot of people get hung up. It's like, oh, but I can't donate that much. It's like if you could donate $1, that's $1 more that they have, basically. Mm-hmm. I mean, $1 can turn, you donating $1 can get somebody to donate maybe $5. It's like, oh, hey, this dude's donating. I can donate. Just there is no like amount like really too small. It's just whatever you can. But at the same time, if you can't, totally understandable. Like I said, the next best thing, word of mouth, get it out there. Bring awareness to it. Bring more people to it. More possibilities of getting people, help for these situations.
Yeah, let me see here. Who do we got? Taking a look here at some of the names here. Obviously, Handsome Dragon. Mm-hmm. You got Baxter, Justin Sane, Mylan Games. I said that already. Nova GG from DTR. Sir Wallen. Holy shit.
Oh, why's that familiar?
He's a pretty well-known Destiny YouTube.
Probably nobody. Probably nobody I listen to directly. Which I apologize. I'm sorry. But
our buddy Guardian 21. Oh, there's Anon Pig, Coed Beast,
cool.
Beard Grizzly. Let me see here. I know I saw Bife. Yep, Bife is in there. Anubis Gaming, they're all going to be early morning and on the next day type of thing. So I mean, there's going to be some big names there. Some people you might want to listen to. Some people you might watch. Some people that you'll start watching or listening to, perhaps on a podcast similar to the RngCast. That's definitely going to be the RngCast. Maybe you like the way Raven talks about the books of sorrow. Or that, hey, this Buster guy doesn't know anything about Destiny lore, but he's hilarious. Maybe now you listen to this episode and welcome and thank you. That was me.
Hello.
There you go. Good morning, RNG Revolution. So, that was us from the future saying hello. We just time traveled. Quantum leap.
Oh my God. We're referring to the... Oh God. That's one gag I wish I could actually memorize, but no matter how many times I've watched the movie, I cannot remember the skit in Spaceballs about the then is then and now is now.
Oh, yeah.
While they're looking at the tape, I can never remember or memorize that skit.
This is us watching us now, then.
No, but when is now?
Now.
No, that was then. Now is now.
It's that version of Who's On First.
Exactly.
That times. But let me see. What did I see? I saw someone tweeted out. I believe it was Alicia Day. Tweeted out that they're doing a live action reboot of the Jetsons. Yeah.
The crap.
I really want to have a don't reboot this sound drop. So I'm just going to do it now and hopefully someone does it. Don't reboot this. Please don't. We've already had it. It's good enough.
Yeah, but Jetsons set into the far-flung future of the year 2000.
Yeah, exactly. And then you watch movies like Blade Runner. That's 2019.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a goddamn android.
Though hilariously, you look at the opposite end of the spectrum, like Star Trek, especially like Next Generation, and they're like sitting there basically fiddling with freaking iPads in the 31st century. It's like, wait, what? We got those now, homie.
I got one. Yeah, I got one right now. Like literally, it's in front of me. For fuck's sake, that's how I monitor the sound quality. I edit. That's my mixing board. It's a touchscreen. It's fucking dope. But we can't have androids. No. Because you know why we can't have androids? Because probably someone's going to try to bang it. That's why we can't have nice things.
What was that movie? There's a movie like that was the entire freaking like plot, basically.
Was it...
The dude makes android. He brings in like a psychologist to check and see if it's all right. Come to find out, he's just banging the android.
Was it Ex Machina?
That could be it.
That was it? Yeah. That's why we can't have nice things.
You want to talk about a weird movie, but then again, the only reason why that movie makes me sad is that's probably what's going to happen. Like, the dude to invent that kind of life, yeah, it's going to happen. There's going to be some dude that gets rich, then improves himself, still can't find chicks, has to bang a machine.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. No, for sure. I'm 100%. I agree with you. One of my coworkers made the reference. If you could think about if you think like, oh man, would it be crazy to bang this? Someone banged it.
Oh yeah. More likely.
Dudes, it's hard to explain to women that being a guy is like 1/37th% away from being a fucking angry chimp. Sometimes it is. I mean, there's we're cultured. A lot of people are like, oh, Raven gives me the Zen master vibe. Like, you're very calm. I'm like, oh no, if he flies off the handle is gone.
Yeah. I am a man of extremes. That's why I have to stay, keep Zen in my head. Like, it is something I have to fight with. But yeah, Buster has noticed in the year of podcasting, there's at least 3 times I can think of where the lid just freaking, it's like the fridge in Monk. Like, I had the hand grenade tossed into it. It's gone. Barriers gone. Lost for like a good 30 minutes to an hour, and then
yeah.
Buster very patiently listening to me.
You got to ride the wave. Is how I looked at it. Like, oh, just hold on. I know this. I know this. I do the same thing, except for I'm very calm in short bursts, and I'm manic all the rest of the time. A lot of people have said that we're very much the yin and yang to each other.
Yeah.
You guys have really good chemistry. Yeah, because I'm the black dot in his white area, and he's the white dot in the black area of my attitude.
Yeah, pretty much.
Every now and then I'm like, oh man, this is what's happening, and then you go, dude, that was really fucking calm and patient of you. And then I'm like, but fuck these guys. Oh, there's Buster. Like the whole teabagging thing. You know, it doesn't mean anything to me. It really doesn't. It just pisses me off. And you're like, Buster, calm down. I'm like, no, he's mine. Got him. Got him. And then you're like, wait, when he does this, he focuses. Fuck it, let him bag. Let him bag. So, and now there's less people in the PvP mode. Now there's less people who can teabag. Or it's just going to be more rampant.
Yeah, probably going to be more rampant, actually.
Yeah, because they'll spread out.
Because then now you have, like, the... Well, you see, alright, I mean, I haven't seen, like, numbers of, like, how bad activity has dropped in Destiny. There's still a large chunk of the people that we normally play with that still play. Mm-hmm. I would pick it up more often if these people were awake when I'm, but they're not. But now, I mean, at this point in time, especially, I mean, the closer it gets to D2, man, it's got to be really... it's got to be... I mean, I'm so antsy for, like, D2, like, actually release. I mean, when the TWAB came out, it's like 1 month, and it's like, oh my god, holy crap.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it's like, yeah, I want that. I have no desire to really... I mean, I still have it. Destiny's still there on the old hard drive. But yeah, I mean, I can only imagine though. Like I said, with the dip in, player base at this point in time. I mean, with all the freaking connection issues from the people, freaking match times, I can only, teabagging is probably freaking rampant in the first right now. Jesus. I can only imagine. Because, I mean, this isn't just normal, like, content drop type stuff. I mean, sure, we'd all be feeling it by now, because, I mean, while the Age of Triumph was great, it wasn't going to be enough to carry us the entire time. But, at the same time, it's like, it's not a content drop because it's, well, actually, it kind of is a content drop, because the game is effectively dying. I mean, there's going to come a time, around mid-September, that Destiny 1 might be supported to be around, but it's not going to be supported. Mm-hmm. It's like, Trials is over. Iron Banner is over. Those things are not coming back to Destiny 1. I doubt live events may not go live. I mean, probably not, because that's first one is going to be, well, October, maybe, if you're lucky. But yeah, with D2 so close, I mean, D1 is the ship that, I mean, it may not be literally sinking, because, I mean, good God, it's still, like, good, it's not bad, but it's effectively the sinking ship, because, well, the iceberg that is Destiny 2 is coming closer to the Titanic of Destiny 1. And we already know what happened. Leonardo DiCaprio dies, okay?
Don't let go, Jack. Don't let go.
But yeah, so I mean, I have no love lost. Like I said, I booted it up like a couple weeks ago, playing matches with Terry, Forrest, Scully, I think Biz. Was Biz part of that? Biz may have been. And Arrow Knight. And they did some stuff, but we ended up doing some like 3v3 private matches where I didn't do too horribly. considering it was like the first time in like a month I picked up the game, I'll call that a victory.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So it's like not. I'm using this time effectively to get the other games out of my system. Like I said, I'd rediscovered Torment, and if I don't mainline like these Torment games right now, then come September, I'm not going to play them. Like it's going to be another few months before I get around to them if I wait till September, which is already sad because there's already a couple games coming out that, like I said, once September comes around, I'm probably not going to be playing them. I mean, XCOM 2 is getting a massive content update. It's like a $40 freaking DLC that's coming out. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's effectively the Taken King for XCOM 2. The only bad thing, comes out just before D2. Like, I think a week or two before D2, and it's like, crap!
What am I gonna do?
I'm not gonna be able to play XCOM 2 for, like, a couple months. But yeah, so yeah. If anyone is curious on why we don't have a lot of Destiny talk, well, hey, like I said, it's hard by myself to boot up Destiny. It's hard because I want Destiny 2. And at the same time, it's like I don't like, especially right now, I'm not keeping up with news, which kills me as a podcaster. But at the same time, it's like there's so much trickling news right now, and like people trying to basically get the meat off of a chicken wing for information. They're like gnawing on the bone trying to get information.
Which, just to be clear, is the way you eat chicken wings, for the love of God.
Exactly. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, and for people that have dedicated themselves to Destiny, it's the thing to do. But I'm sorry, I'm not going to watch every 15-minute video for like a minute and a half to 2 minutes of information. It's like talking with my mom on the phone. Mm-hmm. I don't enjoy it.
That would be the metaphor I was going to use too. It's like talking to your mom about your sister or your brother, and you're like, I don't.
Exactly.
I mean,
it's basically, if I could get away with something, I wish I could do what Arnold Schwarzenegger did in Last Action Hero. Whenever his ex-wife would call, he'd put on like a tape recorder. Uh-huh. Yep. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I wish I could get away with that. Mm-hmm. Because I would have some recordings like made and just start and like just be done with it.
No way.
Yeah.
You serious? That's crazy. It's like the snore track in any other in every movie. Like when you pretend you put a dummy.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
But yeah. So there's that mystery for you. Like just in case, like you've been wondering. But yeah, like I said, it's just getting to the point. It's like people are speculating. Oh, there's a hidden like class or subclass abilities. Like, yeah, I read the title. No, I'm sorry, I don't really care. Like, I'll read the descriptions and try to glean some stuff. Like people picking Luke Smith's words, examining them under like an electron microscope. I'm not that type of person. Yeah. Like I'll get like the chunks. I'll get the news. Like if stuff's like steadily churning out, and like I don't have to basically like, you know, I have to watch some interview to look for a twitch of the eye whenever Luke Smith says a specific thing, which means he's lying or not. Not that kind of person.
Yeah. Are you talking about the whole magician?
Yeah.
I read that, and the first thing I thought of was, what is a magician? Someone who's good at manipulating what you see. Mm-hmm. A living red herring. I mean, we might eat our words in a month, and there'd be a new class called the magician. I doubt it. More than likely, it would be like the stranger. Right?
I mean, there was words that there was a fourth subclass that the developers were going to add to Destiny 1, but they couldn't think of proper power fantasy and such. And they couldn't really get it to fit, so they scrapped it. Who knows? Maybe it took them 3 years, and it's like, hey, we can do this thing. And completely surprise everybody. Who knows? Do I think it's going to happen? No. But that's I don't like saying cynic, because I'm not really cynic. I'm just real.
The logic?
Yeah, I'm a realist. I try to think of things realistically. And I know a lot of people throw that around. It's like my wife. Oh, I'm just a realist. It's like, no, you're a pessimist. It's like expecting things to fail, that's pessimism.
Mm-hmm.
I only expect humans to fail. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Because humans will fail. It's like, I'm sorry, everyone, but I will eventually fail you. If I have not already. It's going to happen.
I thought I was going to today.
I know, right?
Raven, you were like, nah, man, it's cool. It's really cool. And I'm like, no, he's just being zen about it. He doesn't want me to freak out. I'm going to fucking freak out. Buster freaks out. And I was like, nah, I got this. And my man went, okay, yeah, test out your connection. I was like, all right, cool. Walked right to the laptop. Didn't even do the phone. The phone was in my pocket. I was like, nope. Gotta get this ready to go. Hooked everything up. I mean, Raven, you were there. I was really freaking out.
Oh, yeah.
Legitly, I was having a fit because we did 65 episodes and hadn't missed one. If I didn't miss for fucking Christmas, goddamn good and well, no, I'm not going to miss because this house needed to be fucking wired.
Oh, no, basically, I legitimately had to send a message. It's like, Buster, take a breath. It's like, most podcasts expect at least a week gone because of Christmas. We haven't missed a week in 2 years.
Yeah.
Good. We're good if we miss one. Of course, like I said, A, I was still kind of sleepy. Mm-hmm. B, yeah, it would suck, and I'd feel horrible, missing a week. I would.
Yeah.
Because right now we have a legacy. We have legitimately not missed a week. Except for that one. But the recording failed. And then it never happened. And then episode 1 actually happened.
Oh, yeah,
so it doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
Prototype. It was rehearsal.
Yeah. It was patient zero. That's what it was.
But, which legitimately, I've actually run across people wondering, is that, or have been surprised by the story. Yes, there was legitimately an episode that, from Buster's recording, only Buster was speaking for 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I have the audio still. I could easily cut it to 15, just a little quick 15-minute drop and be like, here, you guys want to listen to it? Here's what it sounds like. It sounds like someone's crazy and having a conversation with themselves. Because I talk, and then I go quiet.
Yeah, I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, we reference it, but I never thought, or I never really imagined that people wouldn't get the fact that this isn't a bit. This isn't a gag that we have. No, this is sadly truth.
Mm-hmm.
It happened. We lived it.
It happened. I realized. I freaked out. I said, guys, the weirdest recording thing happened. What happened? I posted the file. You guys listened to it and said, holy shit, we'll just do this next week.
Yeah.
Fix it. We live, we learn.
Yeah.
And we fixed it. Last week's episode had a little bit of some audio issues on my end, and I fixed it. Thankfully, no one noticed any, ghosts in the recording, is the best way I can put it, because it sounded like, who is the singer that used the auto tunes before T-Pain? He was a rock musician.
Can't remember, because I know Kid Rock did a little bit of it.
Well, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
Everyone sounded like T-Pain.
Yeah.
Even me. And I don't know what it was. So I had to run it through some filters. I downloaded some filters. I looked up online. I almost sent somebody $20 to fix it. Here, take this audio, fix it, whatever. But I got it down, and no one noticed. Thankfully, no one was like, "Hey, Buster, what's up with that auto tune right in the middle?" I'm like, "Fuck, I missed it." But no, luckily I didn't get it. Your dog sounded like a robot. Oh, that dog. The dog has a different decibels. Ah, no. But yeah, in podcasting, things will go wrong. And like
Sure.
And like I said, I might cut that into like a little 15-minute and put it at the end of an episode and just mention it in the episode. Like, if you want to listen to it, there's a little clip it. Or I might give it to the patrons first. Who knows what I'll do. I have it, though. But yeah,
be a doozy, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. People be like, no shit, that actually happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, it's just hilarious. Just because I've done it myself. I'll watch like people on YouTube or whatnot, and like they'll reference something. It's like, that's a bit, surely. It's like, no, not everything. Not everything is just for the sake of an audience, guys.
We have very little bits.
No, we really. It's like, yeah.
We're the kings of callbacks, the sultans of say what. We're not the badass of bits.
No, the bits aren't our thing. I mean, that's been. It does remind me of a question that we had that we weren't able to get to, and like things happened, but it was like I think it was known as Alex asked it, perhaps one of our lovely patrons, but it was more of the fact of like what put us in mind to like create this community or whatnot, or like put together like this community. I can't remember the exact question, sadly.
Hold on. I think it was one of the weeks that Biz was gone before he went on to making more money and learning new things.
Yeah. That was, and then like that got dropped on us, and I can't remember the exact question.
I'm looking in the topics right now, see if it comes up.
Oh god, it's had to be so long ago though.
You'd be surprised how fast I can find this. I think it was what inspired you to create a community of such awesome and like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
I think that was it.
Yeah. Either way, close enough. Like I said, sadly I can't remember exactly who, but it's like what got us into it. Well, basically, I've always like everything I've done.
I got the question. Sorry.
Awesome.
It was known as Alex. Shout out to you. Now, Alex, we're actually answering your question. What gave you guys the urge/courage to make this awesome community?
Well, like I said, everything I've done, the YouTube, the streaming when I did it, everything I've done, I've always had the like forethought of, if I can get some people to notice this, and if I can actually get people around this, it's like it's always been in my mind to create, or at least help. Because I don't like using the word create, because legitimately these communities happen because of you guys. It's like a herd of people come together. The best we can do is make sure there aren't like too many like black sheep or wolves in sheep's clothing, however you want to say. But that's the best thing we can do. But otherwise, I mean, it's just hoping the fact that our personalities attract amazing individuals, and it is thusly our job from there to keep hurting and kind of like funnel you into a direction that will be useful, not to us, but you are useful to us. We love you, but useful to the world effectively. I mean, look at what Destiny is capable of doing with their charity fundraisers and such. I mean, amazing things. And our community is a splinter of this community. So that awesomeness is carried with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, what gave us the courage? It's like, effectively, it's pretty much close your eyes and jump in and hope the water's not as cold as you think it is, effectively.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to make an ass of myself.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really a lot of courage. Just, if anybody remembers the show Wings, it was pretty much oh God, what was that game that Lloyd played where he ran into a wall and hoped that he didn't hit a stud?
Oh my God. Number one, I love Wings.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
I love Wings.
Love that show, man. But yeah, that's pretty much like the quote unquote courage. It's pretty much blind insanity. Like I said, running into a wall head first and just hoping to God you don't hit a stud in the wall. But like I said, I mean, we could just do our best to be true to you, and try and keep things zen and positive. That's my perspective. How about you, Buster?
I mean, really, it was just sort of, like I said, as kind of like a throw-out line that I'm not afraid to make an ass of myself. I've lived a pretty crazy life, and I continue to live a pretty crazy life, and the urge came. You know, Tim told a little bit of the pre-story last week that I was on a podcast before talking Destiny, and I mean, I just kind of got bit by the podcasting vampire, and it went into remission for a while, and then, you know, met Dez and Biz, you know, around being on the Destiny Reset podcast Discord. Started playing with Des. You know, our conversations went from left, right. No, he's on B point too. You know, man, let me just tell you about this thing. And then us going, that's fucking weird. And then, oh shit, we won. And then it hit me one day, like, man, we could just record this, because people would just be in the party laughing at us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, holy shit, Buster, calm down. That was me baking, not knowing it was me. It was the baking segment, which has gone away, because just like this podcast is sort of like an example of a life form. It started out single cell and then evolved. Baking happened. The anti-salt mine happened. The baking went away, so the anti-salt mine went away. I still listen to Justin Sua's episode. Hell, I would love to have Justin Sua back on so that way he could talk to Raven, because Raven was on his sabbatical, his walkabout, as it were, when that happened. I mean, I do this because I love it. Like, a part of me felt bad because, yeah, like Des, you said, we have a legacy. We can say that we've never missed an episode. Very few podcasts can say I went 66 episodes and haven't missed one. And it wasn't like the Undertaker streak. You know, it wasn't like, oh, we brag about it. That's just us saying, like, we love doing this. Mm-hmm. If one person hears this and goes, man, I was having a shitty day, and then Buster said he eats bears, I laughed and made the day better. You know, I mean, shit, I posted on our Discord, I was having a fucked up time recently. And, you know, between my girlfriend, my son, and the guys, you know, the revolution, I got through it. Tough times happen.
Yeah. And,
like, I look forward to the 1 to 3 hours I get to talk to you, Des, and Biz when he was here. I mean, I generally look forward to it. We always said that if this ever feels like a job, we'll step away. Mm-hmm. And that's not why Biz stepped away. He didn't feel like it was a job. His job started feeling like a job, and took him away. And we love Biz. I still, you know, he's the RNG brother for life. But another question was, why haven't, like, do we see another host coming? Like, do we have any ideas? Like, we're, like we said earlier, we said last episode, we're not in a rush to replace Biz, because Biz cannot be replaced. Biz is on the Mount Rushmore of RngCast. You know what I mean? He's never coming down. He's on Mount Rushmore. You know what I mean? we retired the main man's number, if I can use the sports reference and get it right. His jersey is hoisted aloft in the stadium. No one will ever wear Biz's jersey.
Yeah.
And no one will ever replace Biz. But if we find someone who comes on and feels like another, I'm going to use a really nerdy reference here, like we're walking down the street and we're both immortals and we feel the quickening.
Yeah.
That'll be it. We'll move on from there. Do we see anybody? Do we have any thoughts? I mean, I would love to having a third voice just feels right for this show in a weird way, but Des and I have done this before.
Yeah.
We can two-man it. You know what I mean? Sure. This is us pulling people through Crota, baby. That's all this is. Buster, go left. Pop your bubble. Boom. Done. Got it. Done. Down. Give me the shader. I'm out. And we say all the time, we love hearing from people.
We do.
I love getting tweets like earlier today, Gorilla Golf. Let Des do an episode by himself. Trust me, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about going, Des, record yourself, send me the file. I'll record question and answer. I'll record responses when you have an open spot. You know what I mean? I'll Frankenstein an episode together if I could. You know what I mean? It would feel kind of like I'm talking to you, but really I'm not. And the community is what does it.
Yeah.
I mean, an army, a leader without an army, and I'm not saying we're leaders. I'm not. A leader without an army is just a dude on a horse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Genghis Khan would have been nothing but a crazy Mongolian without the horde of Mongols at his back. And that's how I look at us. Like, we're nothing without the revolution. We're nothing without the people who talk to us daily. And yeah, I mean, there's I'm on some Discord channels that are really, really active, and I'm on ours kind of hit a little dip in activity. But that's because Destiny hit a dip in activity. Yeah. And generally, the people who are on our Discord talk Destiny.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's fine.
And sadly, at least half of our people on our Discord are part of these other more active Destiny Discords.
Yes.
Which I'm not complaining about because, again, no matter what, there's at least a handful of people that I know that, not including like Buster and Biz. But there's at least a handful of people that if I were to go missing, for 3 weeks, let's say, number out of my head, not like it happened or anything. But if I went missing, I know that once I got back, that there's going to be like a set number of at least messages like, where are you? How's it going? What happened? You okay? Everything all right? And that's a powerful thing to experience, and it's really incredible thing to experience. And that's what you do for us. I mean, from episode 1 and on, and even now, I don't like discussing numbers because there's people that discuss numbers to try and comfort themselves. But legitimately, our numbers have never decreased. Month to month, it's at least same or steps forward. Our audience is increasing each episode, and that is an amazing thing. It's there's a lot of people that will look at this and it's 2 years and we don't have 5 clans and the people of Discord that you can't keep track of. You know what? I don't care about that. Because each and every one of you is amazing enough to where, like I said, we are not backtracking at all. We are always moving forward. And that is amazing.
Yeah, and we're not throwing shade on any other podcast at all.
No.
He mentioned, Raven, you mentioned 5 clans, and we all know what you're referring to and all that. But we love every, this isn't a small island with a couple of deer for meat. This is a literal cornucopia.
Yeah.
There's everything. And one of my biggest things I love is when somebody reaches out and goes, dude, help me. I want to make a podcast. Like Ben. He reached out and said, hey, man, I want to make a podcast. Can you help me? Fuck yeah, I'm going to help you. Fuck yeah. Bushman Bob from Destiny Addicts. Dude, how'd you do it? Help me out. Got you. Here's what you do. Here's what you do so you don't have an episode where it's just you talking to yourself. Let me help you. And it's not like, oh, well, you know, now I helped you make your show. Now you have to do this. Hell no. Hell no. This is an open field, and we're together in this. And everybody's not going to, Barely a Destiny show is a variety show like ours. But they have different voices.
Yeah. They have different opinions.
Different opinions. Exactly. And like how you said, you know, our we don't care about numbers. We don't.
No.
I'm surprised, like, oh shit, cool. And then, you know, they do go up, and that's not because of us. That has nothing to do with us. That has everything to do with somebody saying, hey man, listen to this. You might like it.
Yeah.
Or they're listening to it and somebody goes, yo, who the fuck is talking about frozen gummy bears? Oh, that's Buster Knuckle from the RngCast. Check out episode 22 and then listen from 22, go back to 1 and go, man, these guys were really rough. And then listen to us now and be like, man, they're really good now. Their chemistry came together. Holy shit. But I mean, I don't speak for Des. I never do. But I love knowing that I listen to a lot of podcasts. Let me just be forthright and honest. I listen to a ton of podcasts. My Stitcher is, are you sure you want to download this episode? You might not have enough space. I love listening to things that motivate, that make you feel better. I mean, hell, I've listened to a podcast and cried. Like, you know, the fact that there can be emotion. The fact that I could say something and not even realize I said it that was funny. And somebody goes, dude, that was gold. Or, hey, man, you guys were really on fire today. You know, I enjoyed it. Thanks. You make the drive home better. You make this long drive for your like truck drivers and whatnot. You make the drive better. Oh, I work in a warehouse too, dude. I know the pain. You know, thanks. That's
like
it.
One of the best compliments also that I've heard like a lot is, sadly, my trip to work isn't as long, so it takes me several days to finish the podcast. That is like an incredible compliment. It's like they don't mind the length because, okay, legitimately back in the day, I was concerned about like 2.5, 3.5 hour podcasts. You could ask Buster. It's like, I don't know, dude. It's like, I enjoy talking, but I don't know, man. But as we went on, it's like y'all, the revolution, like the infant revolution at the time was like, no, we love this. Like, dude, keep going. It's like, all right, screw it. You know, I'll check my jaws for like 2.5, 3 hours. I've got no problem doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, that was one of the indications that we were capable of doing this. One of the first times that me and Buster hung out in party chat, he was grinding for his planetary materials for his sword. And I was following him, doing nothing but talking to him on Earth in the Rocky Yard. I had no business being there. I could have been doing anything else for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, you know what? We did that. We can handle a podcast. Sure.
And the funny thing would be if we had the audio from the voice chat and we synced up the game to that, it would literally look like your character, your guardian was following my guardian, just standing next to me as I was grabbing spin metal and shooting fallen. And I don't think you shot anything. I think maybe like if
barely anything.
Yeah, I think maybe if like an event happened, like the walker fell, you're like, oh,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
on this. But seriously, man, like you should definitely watch this show. Have I steered you wrong yet? And I'm like, oh, spin metal. Oh, there's a chest over here, Buster. Oh, cool. It would have been like a sitcom.
Except pretty much. I mean, we were basically Seinfeld, the Destiny version, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would have been a show about nothing, but still, I mean, just the capability is like, you know, we could do that. It's like, all right, you know, we can go forward on this. And the only thing that we might be able, like, the only numbers we might be able to take credit for would be like the first few episodes, because we were very fortunate, you know. A bit, some behind the scenes lore that we don't get too much into. Not because of like fear of shade or anything, but and I was talking to JC Jesse from Dad's Tale about it, and he was kind of surprised to know our origins came from Destiny Reset podcast. And it's just the fact that we don't throw it out often, especially in the early episodes, because we didn't want to start something inadvertently with some people. Because some people take, like, if you start, like, dropping names a lot, especially, like, a more popular name, which at the time, like, Derphead was just hitting their stride and just hit, like, their first boom and, like, took off. So it's like, let's not talk about that. Just from the, you know, perspective, it's like, just so we can just keep things level. But we were able to spread word through our friends in Derp. So, I mean, we could take credit perhaps for like the first 2 episodes, but everything beyond that was entirely the Revolution. Like 100%. Like, y'all took it, y'all ran with it, and y'all have not dropped that ball yet.
Nah, you passed the ball.
You kept relaying that sucker. It's going. It's still going, and that's amazing.
It's like our Games of Rift, Raven.
Yeah.
Buster, you got it? Oh, I got this. All right, cool. Follow me. I'm already with you, brother. You guys carry the ball. We'll cover. Don't worry. My bubble's there. And I mean, you know, you mentioned if you were so happened to disappear for 3 weeks, just inadvertently, under no power under your own. Yeah. And maybe at that time, I might have allegedly search your hometown and your name and look in the newspaper to maybe see that you didn't, say, crash your car and end up in a coma or anything weird like that. Or maybe think, hey, I mean, I probably wouldn't have thought of sending you a letter because I did have, you know, I have your address legitimately. Yeah. You know, I could send you a letter, but who thinks of that at this stage?
No, right?
I mean, this is all hypothetical here. This is all hypothetical.
Completely.
I mean, one of the things that happened this past, maybe I think it was like last week or this week. I mean, I got a message from Mulder saying, hey, man, how's it going? Haven't talked to you. How's everything? You know, I told him, moved into the house, sent him a picture of the house. You know, he congratulated me and all that. That's awesome. That's awesome. We had him on the show just because I like talking to the guy. We have people on the show that I just like talking to him. Or if I like your stuff, like Game Boy Jones. He doesn't play Destiny. We had a great show with him.
Amazing show.
Yeah. There's some guys that we just don't, you know, oh, you don't play Destiny? Cool, come on out. Let's talk about what you do.
Yeah, I mean,
we have that ability, too. We don't need to talk about Destiny. Yeah, we are a Destiny-centric show, but we're also RNG. We're random. Yeah. We embrace the random at all times, at any times.
It's been like mission statement from day one. It's like, yes, we talk about Destiny. Yes, we talk about Destiny in depth. But at the same time, we're not hogtied to Destiny. We can, perhaps, like now, just basically just talk off the cuff and it's like, hello, how are you? Type deal. I mean, like I said, it's no ill will because, yeah, once get it, no ill will. Anyway, yeah, that's horrible. But yeah, it's just things happen. But yeah,
you definitely had no backup plan with that one. Puns.
We can do them. There's a reason we don't.
They end up like that. That's why we don't do them.
That's why we don't do segues. They end up like that.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Awkward and just weird.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Oh, God.
I could have had a better segue if I was like, one time I went to the aquarium and I saw 2 seals boning. What did you have for dinner last night? That could have been the segue. That's a better segue, see? No, legitimately, I did see that though once. I was standing there and the kid was like, they're slap fighting. I'm like, no, kid, they're not slap fighting. That's how they do it? Oh, cool. Okay. I called. I was driving home and I accidentally butt dialed Scully. And it was like 6 o'clock, 6:15 in the morning. Me assuming, oh shit, she's asleep. You know, they have kids. They're probably asleep. No, I knew better now.
I'm starting to wonder if that woman actually sleeps.
I was
like, there's sometimes I'll catch her on. It's like, what are you doing on?
Yeah. I noticed it and I was like, oh shit, I hung up. Right? It was like 4 seconds, 5 seconds, not enough to pick up. So I hung up. And maybe like 10 seconds later, I got a text. Hey, are you okay? And I was like, one, I was touched because, I mean, if you call me that early in the morning I'm asleep, someone better be dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But to say, hey, are you okay? It mattered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, damn. Like, yeah, if somebody called me and they normally don't call me, I would think something was wrong. But I was like, I butt dialed. I'm sorry if I woke you up. Oh, no, I'm at work. Everything's okay. All right, cool. Thanks. I'll talk to you later. You know, have a good day. I just got off too. You know, and then just like, there's some people that we made that, I mean, hell, Subcult. He sends me messages all the time like, dude, you guys going live on Twitch? I need to watch you guys. And I'm like, as soon as we get a better computer that can run OBS, or as soon as we find someone who volunteers to sit silently in the Skype call and just OBS stream us, there you go. I'll put the call out there. If you can run OBS and you're an OBS master like Biz was, and as a payment you can just sit and listen to the show live, and occasionally if you want to chime in, you know, you can be like who is it? Robin from Howard Stern.
Oh yeah. The basically the editor.
Yeah, you could come in every once in a while and say something, or we'll call you in. You know, we'll be like, hey, you know, I'll say Jimmy. Hey Jimmy, come on in, man. What do you think about this? Or if you listen to some other podcast, Young Jamie. You know, you can be our Young Jamie. You know, our producer on the fly. I'll just say broadcaster, because I guess I'm the producer. I guess. I don't know. You know, if you want to do that, message us. DM us on Twitter. Send us an email. Send us a letter. A raven. Telepathically think hard. You get what I'm saying. We're around. You can... Please, if you volunteer to do that, that'd be the dopest thing ever. Expect several thousand shout-outs. Maybe a special edition T-shirt when they come out. Maybe something like that's coming up that's going to be host only. Maybe host and Patreon only. And then a different edition will come out for everyone else. Who knows what will happen? By saying that, definitely something is in the works. Raven and I will be hammering out details on when and where and how hard, stuff like that. But, I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah. It's like I said, this community is amazing, and we're just fortunate, like I said, that our personalities have attracted such amazing people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically like fishing, effectively. Like, trying to build a community legitimately is like fishing. You know, you might put out the right bait, you might have the right lures, but all in all, it all comes down to what wants to bite and when.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, we've had nothing but keepers, which I'm going to keep saying is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, people will see us as small. We are. Go screw yourself. But I love you.
We're not a large house, but we're a proud house. Every one of the revolution equals 100 of the other men.
Yeah.
There's my Game of Thrones reference that you didn't understand, but somebody out there is like, oh my god, that's Mormont. Yeah, that's what that was.
I'm just going to sit here and go, yeah.
Yeah. That'd be the only bit we do if we don't know anything about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But someone asked, I'm sorry if you ask me this question, I don't give you the shout out you deserved. Who was your favorite guest? And also another one was, what is it like to be with such luminaries? By the way, 100 points for that word. for using that word correctly in a sentence as Biz. I think it was directed to me as Biz and Des. I think that was on when we said the AA. That's what it is. It was Fred, Bob, Bazooka. What was it like working with such luminaries as Raven and Biz? What was your favorite episode you've done? What was your favorite podcast you've guested on?
So many questions. Definitely favorite podcast I've been on. I haven't been on that many guesting, but Fairly Destiny show for sure, hands down. Because hilariously, I mean, when talking with Dick, love you, buddy. About things, it's like, yeah, we were pretty much inspired by you guys, and it's like, rip off, because I had to bust balls about it. But yeah, so I mean, like going to Barely Destiny show was was basically just a lot like being here. It just felt the same. I mean, I was on the Destiny Tracker podcast, and that just felt a little different because they had a different, feel and vibe to them. But favorite guest is not a fair question. I love you, but go screw yourself for asking that. Because in our infancy, we had the incredible luck of getting some massive names in this community. Yeah, Swain Stash, Bones, freaking Daddy Fat Snacks, Duba. Good God. We had such incredible names on this show.
Handsome Dragon, Anon Pig, fucking Blinker Fluid. I mean, hell, man.
But yeah, and then we've had the people on the show. It's like, who is this guy? Why should I care? All of our mods, it's great people. Blinker Fluid. Still sorry about trampling all over your words there, buddy. Got Mulder. Having Mulder on was incredible and amazing. It was great. Being able to dub the screen name of Scully.
Yeah.
Was the best moment of all time.
That was us, wasn't it?
That was us. Scully stuck after I think it was the after show, though, sadly.
Yeah, but, before I recorded any of it.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was... But yeah. That was... I'm going to have to say that show, like that guest, just because, like I said, we dubbed a screen name that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was Mulder, so it was only fitting that his wife would be Scully.
And it was
stuck.
And it was also tied to G-Man down in Crota as well. Because it was right after that. And us playing with him, and he triple down. He just downed one guy with all of his shots. Still shot the body as it dissipated into the dust.
Ugh. That guy was great.
Yeah.
Oh.
What was it like? What's it like working with such luminaries as myself and Biz? God, that sounds so douchey to ask.
No, right?
God damn, that question sounds douchey when you ask it yourself.
I know, right? It's like, how is it working with such an amazing person as me?
Well, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. What's it like working with me?
Oh, I've got to say, though, it's been nothing like from day one to day 66. It has been nothing but fun. It has never felt like we've had weird circumstances where we haven't been able to sleep, circumstances, hung over, but never. Okay, I'm sorry. The Hangover, like the first half, that was not fun.
No, that's never. No, I agree with you. That was not fun.
And until I went to the bathroom and hurled, I was not having fun. But the overall episode was still fun because I hurled and I felt better. But no, every other episode, they've been nothing but fun because, I mean, I've basically come and talked to my best friends for like 2.5 hours a week. So it's like it's kind of returning home, basically.
Yeah.
So it's been great. I would not go as far as say luminaries, but amazing individuals, I will say.
Let me see. What was it? My favorite podcast I've guested on. I've guested on Barely a Destiny Show. I've been on Dad's Tales. I've been on DTR. And I've been on Massive Breakdowns. Each of the show have their own feel, and I'm appreciative whenever anyone asks me to come on and talk. Because, one, it's always a new experience. And,
oh, crap, and we were on Destiny Lorecast.
Oh, yeah, the Destiny Lorecast as well. Sorry, Anon. That was when
that just came to my mind. Oh, my God. Yeah,
that was when y'all realized I can't read.
Yeah.
I can't read out loud good.
Yeah, that was fun, too. That's a close second in, like, guested podcasts, like, for sure. Because that was a fun episode.
Yeah,
I listened to the Future War Cult episode.
Yeah.
No, it was New Monarchy.
New Monarchy, because I pledged to New Monarchy.
Yeah.
And then, why the fuck would you do that was the entire... Damn, this is not helping my case. You'll hear me say a lot of that.
Oh, yeah.
You also hear me butcher words. I butcher words sometimes. As you know from the Leinenkugel's debacle. Yes. Let me see. I could say the Barely Bads show because you know those guys are so much fun. Yeah, and like Raven, you said it's like being home, but being in someone else's room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same with Dad's Tales. Those guys are awesome. And I gotta say though, for me, it was Massive Breakdowns because I got to show my numbers muscle when it came to like fusion rifles and stuff. And having people like Kit and Mercules go, yeah, you really know your shit, dude. Like they asked me the pre-show, they were like, what's your favorite fusion rifle? You know, I could have said the Thiessen, or I could have said I think at that time it might have been Saladin's Vigil, but I said the Midna's Reckoning. And he was like, yo, that's legit. And I'm like, oh, I love Telesto anyway. Oh yeah, that's legit too. And I don't know if that was them going, let's test this motherfucker out and see if he can talk the talk before, walk the walk before he talks the talk. And I like to think I did. Just like if you put me on the Auto Rifles episode, which, by the way, I'm not mad at you guys. I wish you would have put me on the Auto Rifles episode, but I understand. Me losing my mind about how great all auto rifles are, make auto rifles awesome again. God damn it. I didn't mean to have that one come out, but it came out. Someone's going to make Ma. Yeah. Yeah, that was one of my favorite episodes that I was on. I love it. It was fun just to talk numbers, and not have. And the reason I like going on shows so much is because I don't have to worry about the producing. I can just sit back, relax, and chill, Oh man, yeah. Favorite guest is tough. It's tough to say because they're so great. But I mean, I can say Justin Sua, because that was like the dream episode. Everybody on though, I appreciate everybody who comes on. Blue Ranger, Duba. Yeah. I have fun talking to everybody. My favorite episode that we recorded. Oh man. What was the camping episode when I ranted about camping? It was early. I'm gonna say 15. I'm gonna say 15.
Yeah, somewhere in the first quarter. Mm-hmm. I'll say.
I'm gonna say 15 with a close second being 22 because the Frozen Gummy Bear story, but not because I told the story. It was Biz's face and reaction.
Yeah.
And 1A here, honorable mention, silver medal goes to the epic episode where Biz and Lady and Miss Biz.
Oh my god, yeah.
Went off about, was it syrup on prime rib?
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, it was maple syrup on prime rib. I think. Yeah.
No, was it ketchup on? It was ketchup on.
No, God, yeah, but no, that was part of the same
Yeah, it was the same time. It just wandered away.
Oh my god, yeah, like freaking maple syrup on prime rib. Yeah.
And
oh my god.
And Raven, you and I did commentary
Yeah, we were having our own little conversations. They ranted and raved. It was
so great. It was ketchup on mac and cheese.
Yeah.
And then he called her in. And she said, "Yeah, why not? It might be good." And then he said, "Well, what would happen if would you ever put syrup on prime rib?" And she said, "Sure, you can try it. You bougie." And then they just kind of went on from there. And it went so far as Biz taking off his headset. He couldn't even hear us. That might have been one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
And what is it like working and talking to Biz and Des? I say it all the time, and I'll continue to say that these guys are my brothers. We fight like brothers. We pick on each other like brothers. But we also care about each other like brothers. And, I mean, to get behind the curtain, that whole joke Des and I had about disappearing for 3 weeks, that's legit.
Yeah.
When I say I looked up his hometown and his name to make sure he was safe, that's not a joke. Yeah. And I was legitimately worried. And when he came back, I blasted off on him. And then in the same time said, "I'm in tears right now, dude." Because I was worried. You know what I mean? And, I mean, this whole move thing, everybody's been like, "Dude, congrats, good luck, awesome. Now the real fun happens." And Biz telling me like, "Oh yeah, this is going to happen. And like when it happens, I'm like, "Oh, this is just a part of the course." I mean, I don't need to flip. I don't need to think the world's against me, And I know easily I could reach out and put on Discord anybody up at here, and someone would go, "What's up, Buster? You all right?" And eventually Raven would be like, "Send me a PM," or jump into the private Discord we have for hosts that has Scrooge McDuck jumping into Strange Coins because Biz found out I had so many Strange Coins. That was the inside joke of that picture. And, "Hey man, you okay? You need to talk? You need to get something off your chest?" "Yeah, here it is." "All right, dude. Here's what happens. Here's what you do. Calm down. Breathe. Take a second. Count to 10. Conquer. Eat. Sleep. RNG. Repeat." That's a good one. I'm going to write that one down. I mean, it just... We have fun, And I had a conversation in our patrons lounge with, I think it was Fred Bob Bazooka, and he was like, you don't watch sports. We'll handle that in a second. But you watch wrestling?" And I'm like, "Yeah, everybody watched wrestling. Everybody. Especially if you're down south. If you live down south, you definitely watch wrestling at some point in your life. You might not watch it now."
I was born... I only lived there for like 2 years, but a lot of my family was basically from there. But I was born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Yeah.
That is, as wrestling fans may know, that is in the heart of what we like to call flair country.
The heart of the nature boy.
So yes, like the further south you go, the more football you get into. But no, like around North Carolina, that's wrestling. I mean, you watch wrestling, like for sure, and like that's what got me pretty much into it was the fact that that's what like my brothers were watching. My brother moved down here. We kept watching wrestling. I mean, so yeah, it's kind of part of my legacy.
Dusty Rhodes, man. Like, there's so many fantastic wrestlers that can be brought up, but I mean, he asked me, "Do you watch like WWE or do you watch the independent scene?" I'm like, "Well, you got to watch WWE if you're a wrestling fan. It's the NFL of wrestling. Let's just be honest."
Yeah.
I mean, it is. If you want to talk wrestling with somebody, typically you have to talk WWE.
Oh, yeah.
But I also watch the independent scene, and I'm a big fan of the independent scene because independent wrestlers have that. Man, I don't want to make the comparison, but it's like they're hungry.
Oh yeah,
they're like us. You know what I mean? Like you and I are hungry. We love to do this.
Oh yeah.
It's not like, "Oh well, we gotta come on and talk about the TWAB, and we gotta do this and we gotta do that." Oh, you can almost hear us yawning. You when we'll talk and we'll dip and then we'll spike up and then we'll dip. It's just like the wrestling. Like
Yeah.
I watch Ring of Honor. I watch New Japan. I watch PNG. That's what it is. Like all the independent scenes. And I mean, I'm from Philadelphia. I live right outside of Philadelphia. If I say 3 letters, you'll think of Philadelphia. ECW.
Dub.
Yeah.
Dub.
Yeah. And I mean, that's part of the reason why I like to watch WWE, because I get to see Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman, i.e. Paul E. Dangerously, a.k.a., Paul, whatever you want to call him.
The smartest people in the industry.
God.
Today. Because not only is he business smart, and he helped create ECW, but also smart in the fact that he can perfectly play a character that you legitimately hate. I respect Paul Heyman as a person because of his intelligence. I hate Paul Heyman's character because he's so annoying when he gets in the ring.
But he's good at what he does.
No, he is fantastic at what he does.
No one can cut a better promo.
Oh, God, no. I mean, good God. And like I said, he does it so freaking annoying, too.
But he has a documentary out that you get to hear him, like, candidly, or in the term shoot. It's a shoot.
Yeah.
And he talks about, like, one of the times I think he said he was 17 or 18, and he got his hands on a press pass by accident. And he went backstage, and then he found a meeting and went into the meeting, and he said, I just sat down in an open chair. It was right there. I just sat down. And he was like, Dusty Rhodes was up there talking, telling everybody the idea, telling everybody the storylines. And P.S., if you didn't know, wrestling is scripted. We know. Yeah. I know. Wrestling is scripted. I get it.
It's soap operas for guys. Chill out. Jesus.
I get it. And he said the meeting ended and everybody got up and he tried to get up and sneak away and Dusty Rhodes was right there and he was like, I do a terrible Dusty Rhodes, but he does a fantastic one. What the hell are you doing here, baby? I just came for the meeting. And he said, Dusty cut him off and said, no. What the hell are you doing here? This is a closed meeting. How'd you get back here? And he was like, I just walked in and showed my press pass and sat down. And he was like, what's your name, kid? And he said, my name's Paul Heyman. And he was like, is that your real name? Is that your shoot name? Is that your wrestling name? And he was like, no, that's my real name. He's like, that name will never do. And he was like, all right. So he just, said, we'll think of a name. And he was like, stick with me, kid. I'll show you the round. And that's how he started. He started ECW. He started, he's with arguably one of the biggest wrestlers of all time right now, Brock Lesnar.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but yeah, hilariously, and that's the thing, because in the formation of ECW, he legitimately broke all kinds of wrestling rules. Because they were a part of NWA.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were an NWA branch. And they had one, and here's the thing about, there's several layers of wrestling. There's, the really small indies that, wrestle for, a person. But then you have, the conglomerated indies, like NWA, that's several, independent rings. But at the same time, you can have belts that change between, regions. Mm-hmm. Because technically they're the same people. But, yeah, ECW was an NWA thing. They won an NWA belt. And Paul Heyman, thus, or Paulie Dangerously at the time, pretty much trashed it, disrespected it, and declared themselves Extreme Championship Wrestling. They spit in the face of, and from then on, just completely spit in the face of traditional wrestling. You watch some old ECW. I'm like old ECW, not the ECW that WWE had and rebooted and was meh, but I'm talking old. I'm talking like Al Snow. I mean, that brought a whole new definition to head.
Hell, Raven.
Oh yeah, Raven. Raven's flock.
With Beulah McGillicuddy. That was the... here's a little
Watch the Dudley Boys send a person from the rafters through 5 tables that don't break apart as easily as the WWE tables.
No.
Ow!
Watch the gangsters, New Jack and Mustafa, jump off of a ledge, through a table onto a chair with thumbtacks.
Mm-hmm. To watch Terry Funk and his old self wrestle in that kind of environment.
Terry Funk and
Sandman.
Ooh, smacking cats with Singapore chains, bashing a can on his head until he has a circle of blood where he cuts it, where he had smashed himself open.
Yeah. Before the match even starts, he makes himself bleed.
Watch Sabu break his neck versus Rob Van Dam and finish the fucking match. And then tell me that it's fake. Yeah, it's fake. But those chair shots, you can't fake a chair shot.
And then RVD himself.
Yeah.
I mean, a man named Van Dam because he looks remarkably like Jean-Claude, let me tell you what.
Strikingly so.
But also learning wrestling from Japan, which means he's actually more martial arts than the stuff he does. Oh. And hilariously, why did Rob Van Dam not go into like the big leagues more often? As he stated himself, he liked to smoke pot too much. Mm-hmm. And you can't do that with the big guys.
Nope.
But he could have with ECW, so he stuck with them.
Hell, they suggested it.
I mean, yeah, it's hilarious, like to hear that back in the day. It's like, because Rob Van Dam is an incredibly talented wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
That could have definitely went into the big leagues any point in time. But yeah, once I found out why he didn't, it's like, yeah, all right, fine, that's all right, that's okay.
So, man, for an episode that wasn't, this one surely was.
Well, technically, it is an episode about nothing.
Yeah,
I guess it's our Seinfeld episode.
I guess so. Yeah, but I mean, we've been going for about 2 hours now. I think we could. It's getting late. I need to eat something. We can bring it to a close. Raven, tell everybody where they can find you, man.
This has been your boy Raven. You can find me as always on Twitter at DES_Raven. Throw questions at me. Do it. I dare you. I want to hear from you. Like, blow my Twitter up. Try to annoy me. You can't do it. I know you can't. But you can also search me out on YouTube. Death Switch Raven.
And you can find me, Buster Knuckle, on Twitter at BusterKnuckle13. That's BusterKnuckle13. On Twitch, twitch.tv/Buster_Knuckle. I didn't stream very much, obviously, as you guys know, because I was working and moving, but I'll be probably streaming later on. You can search me on YouTube, Buster Knuckle. Search it, you'll find me. There's a lot of Paladins videos right now, because that's what I'm obsessed with. You can find this show, the RngCast, at the RngCast on Twitter. You can email us, therngcast@gmail.com. If you like what you hear and you want to support us, you want to get this pre-show that we talk about, maybe the first episode, the Patient Zero episode, cutting the snippets, maybe the whole thing, who knows? For about $1, you can probably get it. I'll probably give it to every patron. Go to patreon.com/therngcast. We appreciate any and all support, even if it's, hey, listen to it. If you go on YouTube or iTunes and review, rate, that helps us get seen by people who might love the show or might say, hey, that Buster Knuckle guy's an asshole. That Raven guy's okay, but that Buster guy.
Pretty much kind of the opposite logic applies to like charity stuff. First and foremost, spread the word. We of course do not require patronage of sorts. We do deeply appreciate it, though.
100%. Again, August 26th, the Lit World Lore Mines stream. I will be there. I'm trying to. I bet Raven will be there. You're going to hear some people talk about lore, Game of Thrones, me sound like an idiot. It's a great time all in all. But this has been the 66th episode of the RngCast. We're out.
Later, man.
See you all next week as I pull my ear for Biz.